Hey everyone, and welcome back to Building on 16. I'm Jason, and today I'm going to go over how we're finally getting power out here to our land. So if you're new to our channel, my wife and I, we purchased about 16 acres of raw land. And through the year and a half that we've owned this land, we've done some projects. We've put a driveway in, we've cleared a home site, and most recently we've had a well dug. And all that's finally in. The well's been drilled, all the pump and all the wiring has been completed. So the last step on our property for utilities is going to be getting the power run to our property. And so before I get into this video, I'd like to take this time to invite you guys to subscribe to our channel. If you like our videos, hit the thumbs up, the notification bell. That would really help out our channel. All right. So when we first bought this property, we really weren't sure how we were going to get power back here to where our home site was going to sit. And we had no idea what the cost was really going to be. So we started looking into the off-grid style, the solar panels, the batteries, the whole off-grid solar system kits. And if you've ever looked into that, you realize that that's pretty expensive. I mean, that gets up there really quick depending on what size you're going to try to build. And then we were doing some research and we realized that because this is just a portion of what once was a 100-acre farm, that there are multiple owners out here. There's like 5 different tracts of land that are out here right beside us. And because of that, the power company has decided that they'll tap in power from across the street, run it over to us, and then what they decided to do is run it to more of a central location, and that puts it back from the road roughly around 12 to 1500 feet, which works out perfect for us because that's really close to our home site. There's a junction box to where what they'll do is they'll tap into that and run it to the different lots depending on where I guess they're going to be building or whatever they're doing on their land. So fortunately that works out for us cost-wise, because they also give everybody around here a little bit of an allowance to run the power, and where ours is the closest, it's probably not going to cost us anything. And that's, for us, that's a no-brainer at this point, because there are so many expenses when you buy land and you consider building and other things we're considering doing on this property. So that's what we're going with, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what it took to get to that point. So in our county, you are required to have a building to run power to. They won't just run a temporary pole. You have to have a building or a building permit. So I thought that meant we were either going to have to build a house or have a building on the property that we could get a permit for to run power. So that was the first thought, and behind me is our first building that we have here on the property, and we're going to use it for storage as of right now. And you do have to jump through some hoops to get these permits. The first thing we had to do was get a permit to bring a building to our property, which I thought was a little crazy, seeing how we have about 16 acres. We're out here kind of in the country. Nobody can even see what we have, but again, they have their regulations to keep people from putting buildings where it just may not be a good fit for. But anyway, so that was a breeze. Our land is taxed on agricultural, and so they looked all that up. That was an easy pass. The second thing is getting a permit for power. So once you have the building here, and each county or state's different, you have to go through the regulations or the rules that they have on the way it's set, how it's secured, and everything like that. And once you do all those things, then you can call for an inspection, get all your power set up, and make sure everything passes. The process for that takes a little while, and you kind of have to understand what they're looking for, because it took me a couple times to make sure that I had everything right, and probably an extra week or two through just making sure that I've asked enough questions and making sure that everything that we have is going to pass. The second way that I just learned that you can get power to your property is by drilling a well. And the well company, and again, every state's going to be different, but he informed me that once you have a reason for power and a well qualifies as a reason for power, then you can do whatever it takes regulation wise to apply for your permit for power. And so we are actually going to have 2 meter bases on our property, one up near our cleared area where that building was, and that's going to be our campground area for ourselves, just somewhere to go stay while we're still in the planning process for deciding what we do on building a house. And when we do decide to build a house, that's going to be where we stay. So this is the, well, I guess I'll call it the first, that one kind of the second, because this is going to eventually transfer over to the home site here and be our main power. And same thing, you got to pull the permits and have all the box and the ground rods and all the wiring complete and done to code. And then you call the inspector out, they do their inspections, and they'll either pass or tell you that you need to fix something. So that's how we're getting power out here. And once we get power out here, then we can run our well pump and just pretty much not have to live off a generator. So I mentioned that the power is really close to our property, but right here in the woods, not just beyond these trees right here, is the property line for my neighbor, which their driveway runs down that way, and that junction box that I was talking about is right there. So the power company has already come over here. They started running flags, they put the posts in the ground, and that's going to run up to where our meter base is. So that's hopefully going to happen in the next week. It's already been a week, so they told me it's roughly they're about 2 weeks out. So that's just going to be an amazing utility to have on our property. So I just wanted to go over that with anybody who watches our videos that is thinking about buying land or has some land and have some of the same questions that we had when we first bought our land. But we're happy that we're getting power, obviously. I wish it could have been the solar system. I like the idea of all that and of just owning it and creating your own power. But where this grid power is going to essentially not cost us anything, I think for this time it's going to make most sense for us. But I hope that helps anybody out going through all this. If you have any comments for us on what you've done, please drop them below. We always like reading those on what some of you all are doing out there with your land. But that's gonna about wrap up this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you will, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next one.